Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Today I'm out on the Honda NC750X and I'm getting ready to replace my windshield. So I wanted to take a ride with the stock one, see how it felt on the regular surface streets, on the highway, just to see where the rough patches of air were so I can do a comparison. Now, I've had this bike for a couple months now, and I'm very comfortable with the stock windshield on here, but it could do better. And Honda does have an aftermarket windshield that adds an extra 3 inches of height to it, so I wanted to see how it does. Now, this windshield does a good job in keeping a nice little calm air bubble in here for surface streets, but as soon as you get on the freeway, it's a different story. You do get a lot of wind straight to the helmet, and for longer rides it's not very comfortable. So at just about 50 miles an hour on the surface streets, this whole area here is nice and calm. You do start getting a little bit of wind right here and right here, so you do get it a little bit on your shoulders, and right here it starts getting pretty rough. So just about helmet level. You know, my particular height and my particular helmet that I'm wearing has a lot to do with how good this windshield is going to work. And I have noticed that it works better with this new helmet, which is a defiant-x, than it did on my old helmet, which was a Rorak Atlas version 2.0. That's one of the reasons I wanted to ride again and get a kind of a baseline with the stock windshield, just because I've recently changed my helmet out, so the experience is going to be different. So I wanted to see what it was going to be like with this helmet, because this is the one I'm going to be using with the new windshield. So I'm going to get on the freeway now just to see how this windshield does in faster speeds. I am getting some buffeting. I'm mostly noticing it like on the sides. It's kind of a side-to-side buffeting that I'm getting on here. Yeah, something like this is okay for riding short distances. You know, if you're gonna go a few exits on the freeway, it's not gonna be an issue, but as soon as you start doing longer distance riding, this would get really annoying. Again, right here, it's pretty calm. As soon as that wind whips around the windshield through these little cutouts for the handlebars, that's where the turbulent air starts. Just to be clear, I'm not surprised at the results from this windshield. You know, I wouldn't consider this a touring windshield, and it's nice that there's some protection on here, stock. You know, I definitely feel like they know that people are going to get an aftermarket solution if they're going to do any touring on this bike. The tucking down a little bit, okay, a lot. Tucking myself down a lot does definitely help. And there's the wind again. But tucking that far down on this bike isn't really super comfortable because the bars are kind of too high for that. Alright, freeway test is done, so let's take this on into the garage and check out the install on this thing.
Alright guys, let's get down to the install. So just FYI, this is the part number that I'm using. Windshield and screw kit. This kit that I purchased actually comes with all new screws, well nuts, and all of the washers necessary to install this. So even though the instructions say to retain your old screws and stuff, it doesn't look like I'll need them for this install, but I will be saving them. So it looks like the cutouts on the sides here are a little bit different, so hopefully it'll block a little bit more wind off of my shoulders. Alright, let's get the old windscreen off. It's just 4 bolts here. and these are 5mm. All the screws are undone, but it's kind of just stuck here on the washers. So to pull these well nuts out of here, just push them down to the larger side of the slot here, and they should pop right out. So these well nuts have been used a few times. I did remove the windshield a couple times for cleaning and stuff, and I think they need to be replaced every once in a while. So here's a look at them side by side. Here's one of the new well nuts that comes with the kit, and the instructions say to put a large washer on that. So here is the well nut with the large washer installed. It is a little bit snug on there. So I'm gonna pop this in place and then just push it up. The final screws for these, you have to put the plastic washers on and then the rubber washer on top of that. So the rubber washers will be the ones touching the actual windshield so that you don't scratch it or crack it. So the final install, just line up the holes and put the screws in place. So I'm going to put one in here just to hold it in place. Looks like it lines up perfectly. I'm just putting these in loosely for now until they get lined up, and then I'll tighten them all. Just make sure not to tighten them too tight because you can crack the windshield.
All right, the new windscreen is in place. So far on the service streets, it doesn't feel much different. I am still getting wind on my shoulders a little bit. I think it might be blocking some wind from my helmet though. So like, the wind is up here now. So this is the real test right here, going on the freeway. All right, so far so good. The other thing I was hoping for was that some of the wind noise would be cut down a little bit too, because I'm always looking to try to get better audio on these motovlogs. So this whole area right here is pretty smooth air, and right here is where all the turbulence starts. So it still hits my shoulder. And right here is where the turbulent air starts out, but it does seem like it's a little bit better when I tuck down a little bit now. Before there was really no tucking down to get away from it unless I was pretty much laying all the way down on the tank. So this windscreen does seem like it helps a little bit. I would definitely recommend this if you were planning on doing some longer trips. For local commute stuff, I wouldn't say it was really necessary, but I know there are other manufacturers that make replacement windshields for this bike, and some of them are even adjustable. So those might be a better option for like touring purposes and stuff. About 75 to 80 mile mark, I'm getting a tiny bit of buffeting on the very top of my helmet. But again, you know, I'm 6 feet tall, so my height and the type of helmet that I'm wearing is definitely going to have an influence on whether I'm going to get buffeting and at what speeds. But it's definitely manageable. And if I tuck down just a little bit, I can get to those speeds without having the buffeting on there. So that tells me that if this windscreen was probably a couple inches taller, it would work better for my needs. My next step is probably going to be to check out one of those little clip-on deflectors that go on the top of the existing windscreen, just to give you a little bit of adjustability. You can angle it in different directions to kind of push the wind up and over your head. All right, I'm not complaining. It's a definite upgrade over the stock windscreen. I'm going to try it out for a little while before I attempt to go in and do any add-ons. Take this over so you can get a better look at it. So that's what the aftermarket windscreen looks like. I will put a link in the description for this if you're interested, but again, I do consider this an upgrade over the stock one. It's kind of nice. It's got little accents over here, this little corner part. And it's still a vented windshield. You know, it does let some air up in there, but again, when I was riding, it was a nice calm bubble of air right, you know, by my face and my chest. I was still getting some wind on my shoulders and a little bit of buffeting on the top of the helmet, but I could actually tuck down to get away from it a little bit, whereas with the stock windscreen, I could not do that really effectively. So quick update on the 2021 NC750X. I'm still liking this bike just as much as I did the day I bought it, so that's good news. And I just washed this last weekend, so it's pretty clean right now. But man, last weekend I got stuck in the rain and I was riding probably about an hour in a pretty heavy downpour, and the bike got absolutely filthy, but it performed really good in the rain. I actually switched it to rain mode, and I did notice a difference, because the throttle on here can be a little bit twitchy, but when you put it in rain mode, it kind of takes care of that a little bit. Well, that's about it, guys. I'm not gonna drone on about this for too long. I mean, it's a windscreen, and it takes 4 bolts to install it. So, and in my opinion, it makes a little bit of a difference. It's worth the upgrade, I would say. It wouldn't be the first thing on my list, but definitely worth the upgrade. I will be doing some more to this bike in the future. The next thing I'll be installing on this bike is a center stand, because this model does not come stock with a center stand. So if you're interested in seeing that one, stay tuned to the channel. But I'd like to thank you guys for watching today. If you found this interesting, please click that like button. It really helps the channel. And I will see you guys on the next one.